As you go through your day, notice any time you experience a sense of anxiety and/or thoughts that you want something to be a certain way. On a piece of paper, for example, in a journal or notebook, record the following information: the situation, your degree of anxiety, your thoughts about the situation, what you're trying to control. Repeat this activity for 3 days. When you have 3 days' worth of information, think about the situations you wrote down. See what patterns you can identify. Do you typically feel anxious about whether someone will like you or be angry with you? Do you have a pattern of attempting to control the emotions or thoughts that others have about you? Perhaps you typically attempt to control the choices or emotions of someone you love. In the future, try to approach those situations in a mindful way. Mindfulness involves acceptance of whatever you experience, including uncomfortable feelings. Accepting your feelings includes not acting in ineffective ways to reduce those feelings. Mindfulness is an antidote to both avoidance and efforts to control. Whenever you practice mindfulness, you're working on your capacity to accept reality, including change and uncertainty, which will decrease your emotional suffering. Wait. Whenever you're upset and have an urge to act on your emotions, the following steps can help you decide on the most effective course of action. Watch the emotion. Step back and observe your experience of the emotion. Be mindful of how the emotion feels in your body. What triggered the emotion? Your thoughts about the emotion and/or the situation, and any urges you have. The emotion may ebb and flow, getting stronger before it gradually decreases in strength. Accept that you're having an emotion, perhaps one you don't want to have. Acceptance means letting the emotion happen while recognizing that you don't have to act on it. Although sometimes you may feel controlled by your emotions, you don't have to be. Often no action is necessary. If you're emotionally sensitive, it's likely that you have an urge to do something that will help you be rid of the emotion. Whatever it may be, this action may have become a pattern in your life. For example, perhaps you repeatedly seek reassurance from others that they still care about you as a way of trying to ward off sadness or fear of loss. Acceptance means letting the emotion happen while recognizing that you don't have to act on it or against it. Efforts to control your emotions by resisting or attempting to get rid of them are just another way of allowing your emotions to control you, because you're still letting them dictate your behavior. Instead, know that it's okay to just feel whatever you feel. Investigate. What information does the emotion give you? If you're angry about work, perhaps your anger is telling you it's time to look for a new job. Searching for the information your emotions provide can lead to effective actions that will help you move forward in your life. Take time. Know that with time, the emotion will pass. Let it. If possible, don't take any action until you're calmer, so that you can think through your actions more clearly. Practicing wait. Practice wait. Watch, accept, investigate, take time, and answer the following questions about your experience. 1. Watch the emotion. What did you observe about your experience? 2. Accept the emotion. What was it like to accept the emotion? Did you have urges to stop the emotion in some way? 3. Investigate the emotion. What information did your emotion give you? 4. Take time. How were your thoughts about what action to take different after the emotion passed? Know and trust your internal experience. Mindfulness of your internal experience, thoughts and feelings in particular, will allow you to know what you're feeling and to not act on your emotions impulsively. When you're able to label and manage your emotions effectively and think wisely, you'll learn to trust your thoughts, your decisions, and your emotional experience. You'll have a better sense of your identity. Many emotionally sensitive people find they suffer from contagious emotions. They catch others' emotions. Anytime you're with someone who's upset, you may become upset too. When the emotion calms, you may be confused by why you felt that way, because it didn't really fit with your beliefs or what was happening with you. Mindfulness will give you the opportunity to pause so that you can identify what part of your emotional experience, if any, is not your own. Pause and be mindful, first of what emotions you're having, and then of why you're having them. If you realize you're upset because someone else was upset, then that information will help you cope with the emotions. Mindfulness of emotions is a first step in accurately identifying your internal experience, which will help you trust yourself instead of depending on others to label your emotions and what thoughts you should have. Eventually, your relationships will likely be less rocky because you won't be so fearful of people leaving you. You'll have more calmness, self-acceptance, and self-compassion. Everyday mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness of your emotions on an everyday basis will help you learn to be mindful more automatically. If you're emotionally sensitive, no doubt you'll have many opportunities on any given day to practice mindfulness of your emotions. Mindfulness in relationships. One example of using mindfulness on an everyday basis is being mindful of your responses to others. Imagine that your husband comes home without some item you asked him to pick up from the store. You get angry. You don't give him a chance to explain because you don't want to hear some lame excuse. You already know the reason. He must think I'm not important enough for him to remember what I asked. Yet your assumption may be wrong. What if, instead, you used mindfulness in this situation? If you were mindful, you'd notice that your husband didn't complete the errand you asked him to, but you wouldn't interpret this behavior or assume that it means anything. You'd accept that you couldn't know his motives. Perhaps he was too busy or too tired. Perhaps there were circumstances beyond his control. For example, the store was out of what you wanted. The next time you find yourself making assumptions about someone's actions or intentions, be mindful of what you're doing. Practice wait. Remember to ask what happened and listen to the facts. Doing so will prevent unnecessary hurt feelings and damage to your relationships. Mindfulness of joy. Recognizing the joy there is in your life, your successes and the happy times, will help you cope with the hard times. Noticing only the hard times, on the other hand, can wear you down and contribute to feeling hopeless. To practice being mindful of joy, make a list of all the positive experiences you've had in the last 6 months. Perhaps you can look back over a calendar, your blog, or your posts on social networking sites to help you remember. You may be surprised at how many positive experiences you've almost forgotten. Read your list weekly and add to it as you can. Purposefully doing enjoyable activities is a way of rejuvenating yourself and building your ability to cope with stress. Here's an informal exercise you might like to turn into a habit. Every day for the next week, do something that you enjoy, being mindful of your experience. Mindfully drink a cup of excellent coffee. Mindfully celebrate a birthday. Go to a beautiful garden and leave your phone and camera at home so that you can focus your full attention on what you see and smell, taking your time and walking slowly. Mindfulness of location and activity. Being mindful of location and activity means being focused on wherever you are and whatever activity you're doing in the moment. So when you're at work, be mindful of your work. Focus your attention on one work task at a time. Then when you're at home, be at home. Leave work at work. When you're at worship, be at worship. When you're driving, be in the car and only drive. When you do one thing at a time, you'll lower your stress level, and that will increase your ability to manage your emotions.